Hi, Atta. Thank you for joining us. So can you share a bit about Torpor Games, what you guys do, and how you work with documentation?
Hello, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm Atta from Torpor Games. I'm the managing director and co-founder. Torpor Games is a games company focused on creating political entertainment. We primarily do strategy, role-playing games with strategy elements. Um, and yeah, our goal is to explore all the elements of the human condition through moral, psychological content and put players into like difficult positions in society. We primarily used to use different documentation tools like on Google Drive, we would have a lot of our files and stuff. And over time, we've seen a lot of stuff build up, and like it was hard to navigate and all that stuff. So, what we did was we started looking for alternatives to improve our documentation processes. As our games are quite complex, having better documentation it became an absolute necessity. So we looked at Archbee and we had a trial run and we really liked the structure. It also improved us in order to take better notes, propose better design ideas, and created this like one main source of information where we can always like refer to. So we went from like a very random cluster of information that is spread across multiple different file types and forms to more organized folders, structures, forms, and also simplified the information as much as we could. Instead of having a lot of information, we ended up like condensing it. It's like less was more for us. So yeah, Archbee has been a big part of professionalizing our documentation process and making sure that all the bits and pieces that were scattered around our different tools were united under one cohesive place. We looked at other solutions, but we thought that Archbee was coming at it with it from a different angle and still tackling some similar components, but also adding a lot on top. So that was a big thing. For example, the integrations help put in a lot of the data that we have elsewhere into Archbee. On top of that, we have this specific use case that fits very well with Archbee, which is publishing the sites. So our universe has a lot of lore, the suzerain universe built around our experiences, which now consist of Suzerain and the Conformist as two games. This universe is massive, and we always wanted to have a guided wiki that we are in charge of, something that we have oversight and curation power of, because we noticed that our public wiki had a lot of personal commentary from our fans, and that is great, and we love all the extra details and effort that's put in there, but we wanted to have like the default source of truth that we put into the games visible to everyone online. And this would also, of course, add to the promotion and marketing of the game. So one of the things Archbee did for us that was very well positioned for our needs was we could then add all the lore we had and then publish this as a website. And all of these parts of like the private components of the documentation being on the company side versus the public visible page, all were under one structure, which made it super easy for us because that way we could pull external data from internal and we could also like reference. So this has been a big plus. So helped us in marketing as well in this way.
Can you share any results, improvements internally and publicly?
Yeah, I think definitely. So most of our game design processes have improved quite drastically. We use two main components, and Archbee is at the center of it. So one of the key things we started doing was like condensing the information and creating in a presentable format inside Archbee. But we would also use integrations like Miro to link to certain like graphs, etc. We also started using more of the new features that were really helpful, like the real-time edits together, and also like subscribing to changes, which kept people up to date on all the changes of the experience. Another thing that became really positive in the last year was the AI add-on. So now we can actually chat with all the information that exists in our documentation tool. And we noticed that for onboarding, a lot of the new staff would use this feature because we have such a big amount of lore, especially if you want to have some basic context. This AI tool has been very positive for us. And we also unleashed it for the public facing wiki, which means that now our audience can chat with our universe and ask basic questions. So we've seen a massive engagement on that side where people are using this chat feature to ask questions to the universe, and like kind of like get the basic answers that are collected from the database. So there's been some wins there for sure on the public marketing side, on the internal documentation side, and now we're just like looking at further improvements and specific like requests we have to even further get like better with our documentation. Definitely we see like improvement opportunities in like the formatting, in the tables, etc. And then the one big advantage of working with Archbee for us is we can be in touch with the team. We often have like yearly feedback sessions. We can send in our requests. A lot of the requests that we made were actually added to Archbee over the last few years. So it's great to see that like direct communication and feedback loop. And that is a big advantage of actually working with startups and startups working with startups. So that's something that's been a big plus for us.